Hi, my name is Noelle Albright, and for my project, my final project in our Curanderismo class, I am focusing on the influence of Curanderismo in specifically New Mexico, and just how influential it has been like throughout our entire state, and specifically some of the healers and some of the curanderas, the women specifically, that have helped really shape the culture of it. The course that we have been going through this semester is especially unique and special because it originates along with our textbooks in New Mexico and Albuquerque, specifically at UNM. The impact of Eliseo Torres and Emmanuel Miranda on creating this textbook and teaching this course through UNM in Albuquerque has influenced a lot of what happens in the culture around curanderismo and healing in the city. Albuquerque is known for hosting the International Conference on Traditional Medicine that happens at UNM and in the Albuquerque area. And it features a lot of curanderas and curanderos coming from places as far as Mexico City, people coming from across the country to learn more from each other about this specific culture. And there's also community healing events in Santa Fe, so it's not just relegated exclusively to Albuquerque. But part of the unique aspect of what we've been learning is that a lot of the photographs and a lot of the history and things like that originate in our city and in our state as well. One of the really special things about this course and its influence on the culture of curanderismo and healing arts in general is how widely accessible the course is now. Originally, it was taught as a summer course just at UNM, but now it is adapted for an online course, which is what I'm in now. And you can take that no matter where you are. It's open to people all around the world. My research question for this final video is, how has curanderismo affected the culture in the state of New Mexico, and how does it continue to influence the state in the modern day? And in our Traditional Healers of Mexico in the Southwest textbook by Eliseo Torres and Emmanuel Miranda, the specific sort of influence is described also like through each person that is studied, and I will get into especially the women that influenced our work in the state, but it also is used in the state of New Mexico within things like massage therapy, medical therapy. It's used widely through the state and with a lot of different people who practice different forms of healing arts, whether it's like a traditional medical route or in the sort of more natural and earth-based form. I did switch them around a bit, but the first big section that I have been focusing on and am still focusing on is the impact of the University of New Mexico and our city and state on curanderismo. It's a sacred art and it covers a lot of ground, so there are a lot of benefits within education and covering associated topics. There's innovations that the university has put forward, including the course itself, along with the personal experience that I have going through the course. Specifically, I really enjoy reading just through the textbook, even if I've read it, several times over for the quizzes and whatnot. It reads like a storybook, basically, because there's so many people's experiences and so many healers' stories that are in the textbooks, and having that access to the textbook has opened a door, because I honestly did not know much about curanderismo other than just from what I've gotten from my mom and from her mom. My mom doesn't practice, but my grandmother did before she passed away. And so really, it's like the only thing that I have that connects me to her. I have a tattoo in her honor, but there's only so much that you can glean from someone who's passed away if they haven't shared their, healing, gifts with other people, and if they haven't been documented or have been passing on their knowledge, which is why a textbook and a course like ours is so important, because it preserves voices that have passed on, especially with women. And I am going to focus on that in the next part. But that is, to me, part of what's really special, because if my grandma had written down more of, what she practiced and what she'd brought moving from New Mexico to Ohio, it really would have given me a lot more background that would have meant so much. One of the standout women in our state that is especially valuable to curanderismo, I read about her in our Traditional Healers of Mexico and the Southwest textbook, Tonita Gonzalez. Tonita is a native New Mexican, and she did live in Mexico and ran a help center and clinic with her mentor, Rita Navarrete. She's also really experienced in lecturing, and she can speak both English and Spanish, so she's able to translate and give like terms that are interpreted differently in both languages. Tunita has given a lot of presentations in the UNM Curanderismo class. She has given lectures on tinctures and special things that help with digestive health, along with the demonstration of a moxibustion box. She burned dried mugwort leaves near the skin in order to treat shoulder pain. There has been a renewed interest in temazcals, which is the name for a sweat lodge that is typical to like the Southwest and Mexico. There have been two that have been built by curanderos in New Mexico, and one of them is for a rehabilitation community, and there has been another one by Laura Alonso de Franklin, who she has hers sort of in her backyard, not too far from Albuquerque in Los Lunas, and that is another thing that is inspiring other New Mexicans and other people to explore more of the healing arts. She offers classes and different ways to experience her temazcal and different sort of opportunities and ways to include the community in that. Another important and influential woman in curanderismo is Felipa Maria Magdalena Sanchez. She was what was known as a bone setter, but also studied under a chiropractor for a while. And she did a lot of work with the body, including analyzing the body, adjusting the hips, doing some similar things that chiropractors would do without the machines. And she was very well versed with anatomy and the muscular system and things with the nervous system, and just a big holistic picture of health, versus maybe a normal chiropractor would just focus on only targeting problem areas or areas that brought up issue. The spreading of knowledge and the acquisition of all of these details and history and learning these things are really important because of oral tradition and how for a lot of women, the healing arts are, passed down through generations. So for some of us, the textbooks or the materials that we learn in class, the videos are just what we can encounter through that, and especially our textbooks having tied in so heavily to the Southwest and New Mexico is very important.